Welcome back to Market Headline. Over the first half of 2020 calendar year, Pertamina posted net loss of roughly 767 million US dollar. The company said so far the impact on its business from the coronavirus outbreak has been in maximum level as it has in hand with weak energy demand and prices.
Indonesia's largest oil and gas company, Pertamina, booked a 767 million US dollar net loss in the first half of the year amid weak energy demand and prices. The company's latest financial report shows that the performance in January-June period of this year makes a reversal of the profit of 659.96 million US dollar booked in the same period of last year. Hand in hand with a major loss, Pertamina's revenue plunged by 19.8% year-on-year to 20.48 billion US dollar. Largely driven by lower domestic fuel and crude oil sales as major Indonesian cities underwent large-scale social restrictions which curbing demand for transportation. From all sources for IDX Channel.
Pertamina activity is generally considered as essential activity by government, but however, operations have been increasingly difficult due to practical difficulties in many cases of social distancing. And the result is surprisingly very heavy. It took only 6 months for Pertamina to post significant loss. And to get a deeper view, let's see the next graphic about that. Here it is. We can see Pertamina financial record in the first semester. We can see the comparisons between first semester of 2019 and first semester of 2020, and the result quite significant. Can you imagine in 2019 Pertamina posted net revenue of 9 trillion rupiah, but however it deeply shrank into minus 11 trillion rupiah in 2020. But if we take a look at the trend, it is the global oil supply is in the midst of risk, and also global oil companies also fell down. Not even Pertamina, but also Saudi Aramco, Britain BP, and Chevron from the United States. Even Saudi Aramco fell by 50%. And meanwhile, Pertamina financial record in first semester is in the level of minus 11 trillion is also questionable. And to minimize the losses, Pertamina reduced total expenses by 14.1% year-on-year to be a really huge number, and large by cutting sales expenses, yet upstream related expenses actually rose as the state-owned company strives to meet government oil and gas production target. But Pertamina's loss is somehow undeniable. There is Indonesian's proverbs that is quite summarize Pertamina's conditions. It is fall down by and then hit by the stairs. It means that if you have misfortunes, that another misfortunes came at the same time. And Pertamina confirmed the situations as Fajria Usma, which is a VP Corporate Communications at Pertamina, say that Pertamina has gone through triple shocks. What is that? We can see it through the next graphic. So here it is. We can assess what is triple shocks. Triple shocks that was called by Pertamina spokesperson is that the decline in world crude oil prices. We cannot even forget that the global oil prices was declining in the first pandemic of COVID-19 hit the world. First of all, we can see in April 2020, in April, the Brent crude oil is only 19 US dollar per barrel, but right now, as of Monday, through the data, we can assess that crude price oil bounced back again to be in the level of somehow roughly 40 US dollar per barrel. And the second one is that the decline in domestic fuel consumptions. We can see in here as in the beginning, in the early of COVID-19 pandemic hits Indonesia, government has made a large-scale social restrictions, and it's restricted the society movement, and the use of transportations make it really less than before in the normal conditions. And the decline in domestic fuel consumptions in here, when we talk about Pertamina, Pertamina doesn't even decrease the the gas stations or even the supply of the oil and gas, because they want to serve the society with a huge amount of fuel consumptions. And the third one is that the weakening rupiah towards US dollar. And when we talk about currency, this hit the depreciations of rupiah towards US dollar amidst the pandemic. And Pertamina revenue plunged by 19.8% year on year to only 20.48 billion US dollar. And with all the triple shock, it's largely driven by the lower domestic fuel as the major Indonesian cities underwent large-scale social restrictions. As a result, it's curbing the demand of transportations. So let's have a closer look on how different the amount of domestic fuel consumptions from the previous year, which is 2019. Here it is in 2019, we can see that the domestic fuel consumptions in Indonesia is in the level of 135,000 kiloliters. But however, based on the latest data in June 2020, the number only reached 117,000 kiloliters. From the previous year of 2019 to the 2020, we can assess that the number figure has given a figure of a 13% down. But when we talk about the June 2020 data, it reversed when the pause large-scale social restrictions happened. But meanwhile, when the earlier days, when the beginning of COVID-19 pandemic, when the large-scale social restrictions has happened in Indonesia, it went down almost 50 to 60%. And the financial report shows that the company booked 211.3 billion US dollar loss in the first half due to weakening rupiah exchange rate, which is Pertamina's oil import cost. So let's take a look on the next graphic about that. So here it is as one of the triple shock, which is the exchange currency. Pertamina's gain on foreign currency exchange, we can see in 2019. It is in the level of 64 million US dollar profit. Back again in 2019, Pertamina posted a good financial performance and it earned so much profit. And one of the profit gains from foreign currency exchange by 64 million US dollar. But however, it conversely turns into the negative side of 2020, whereas in the first half of 2019, Pertamina gained loss of 211 million US dollar loss based on the foreign currency exchange. And these loss of foreign currency exchange is because the depreciations of rupiah towards US dollars in the midst of pandemic. And however, Pertamina remains optimistic that until the end of the year, there will be positive trend, so that Pertamina expects to see profits by year end. Considering that slowly global oil prices have started to rise, and once global crude oil benchmark price Brent dropped as low as 19.33 US dollar per barrel in April, as I mentioned before, but has rebounded again to 44.47 per barrel by this Monday, as Bloomberg data shows. And also fuel consumptions, both industry and retail, is also increasing due to the ease of current large-scale social restrictions. We hope Pertamina will soon get its recovery as soon as possible. And therefore, viewers, these are the market headlines, because we will be right back after this quick break.